I throw lecture on the subject compiler design. Subject code CS702. This is for computer science and engineering students. I am Konkon Jana, Assistant Professor of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. JS Group, it's a joint venture. This is Module 1 of the subject compiler design having the subject code CS702. This lecture based on the syllabus of BTech Computer Science and Engineering of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal, formerly known as West Bengal University of Technology. In Module 1 of Compiler Design, students of Computer Science and Engineering of 7th semester will know about Introduction to Compiling and Lexical Analysis. Module 1 has 7 lectures in total. Contents of Module 1 lecture is Introduction to Compiling, which have 2 lectures in total: Compilers, Analysis, Synthesis Model, the phase of the compiler, cosine of the compiler, lexical analysis, which have 5 lectures in total, the role of the lexical analyzer, tokens, patterns, lexemeans, input buffering, specification of a token, recognition of tokens, finite automata from a regular expression to an NFA, from a regular expression to DFA, design of a lexical analyzer generator, that is LX. So we will start lecture 5 in this session. I am using digital whiteboard for better dictation. Important points and some reference will be written in this board. Attributes of tokens. When more than one lexeme can match a pattern, the lexical analyzer must provide the subsequent compiler phases. And this additional information about the particular lexeme that matched. For example, suppose the pattern for token number matches both 0 and 1, but it is extremely important for the code generator to know which lexeme was found in the source program. Thus, in many cases, the lexical analyzer returns to the parser not only a token name. Okay, so there must be attribute value that describe the lexeme represented by the token. The token name influences parsing decision, while the attribute value influences translation of tokens after the parse. We shall assume that tokens have at most one associated attribute. Token at most one associated attribute. Although this attribute may have structure that combines several pieces of information. Several pieces of information. Attribute have many pieces of information. Okay. The most important example is the token ID. Okay. This is token ID. One of them is token ID. So another attribute that must be present, that is token ID. So where we need to associate with the token a great deal of information. Okay. Now normally information about an identifier, its lexeme, its type, and the location at which it is first found is kept in the symbol table. In symbol table, identifier, its lexeme, its type, and location at which it is first found is kept in the symbol table. Okay. First, thus the appropriate attribute value for an identifier is a pointer to the symbol table entry for that identifier. Okay. Attribute value for an is a pointer to the symbol table entry for that identifier. Okay. So next one is lexical error. It is hard for a lexical analyzer to tell without the aid of other components that there is a source code error. There is a source code error. Which error? Source code error. Okay. For instance, if the string fee okay, is encountered for the first time in a C program in the context. Suppose in C program, actually from where it is come from? Just suppose I am writing the code fee f x. Okay. A lexical analyzer cannot tell whether fee is misspelling. Fee is misspelling of what? He is misspelling of what? Or of if. Okay. Of if. Okay. So what I like to say is a misspelling of the key of the keyword if or undeclared undeclared function identifier. Okay, so since phi is a valid lexeme for the token id, the lexical analyzer must return the token id to the parser and let some other phase of the compiler, probably the parser in the case, handle an error in this case due to transposition of the letters. However, suppose a situation arises in which the lexical analyzer is unable to proceed because none of the patterns for tokens matches any prefix of the remaining input. The simplest recovery strategy is panic mode recovery. Panic mode recovery. Okay. We delete successive characters from the remaining input until the lexical analyzer can find a well-formed token at the beginning of what input is left. Well-formed token until the lexical analyzer can find a well-formed token. Okay, and this recovery technique may confuse the parser, but in an interactive computing environment it may be quite adequate. Other possible error recovery actions are delete one character from the remaining input, delete one character from the remaining input. Okay, one character. Insert a missing character into the remaining input. Replace a character by another character. And transpose two adjacent character. Okay. Transformations like this may be tried in an attempt to repair the input. The simplest such strategy is to see whether a prefix of the remaining input can be transformed into a valid lexeme by a single transformation. Can be transferred into a valid lexeme. Transform into a valid lexeme by a single transformation. And the strategy makes sense since in practice most lexical errors involve a single character. Most lexical errors involve single character. Okay, And a more general correction strategy is to find the smallest number of transformation. Correction strategy, what will be the correction strategy is to find a smallest number of transformation. Okay, and need to convert the source program into the consist only of value selection, but this approach is considered too expensive in practice to the worth the effort. Input buffering. Before discussing the problem of recognizing lexeme in the input, let us examine some ways that some but important tasks of reading the source program can be split. That is recognizing lexemes in the input. These tasks each made difficult by the fact that we often have to look one or more characters beyond the next lexeme before we can be sure we have the right lexeme. But there are many situations where we need to look at least one additional character, at least one additional character. For instance, we cannot be sure we have seen the end of an identifier until we see a character that is not a letter or digit, and therefore is not part of the lexeme for ID. In C language, suppose giving example, single character operators like suppose minus, equals to, less than, or some type of lexeme. Okay, but also there are another way we can be used them. For example, this. Okay, shift operator. That means two character will be there, and equals to as checking equals, two character is there, and also we can use this less than equals to. Thus, we shall introduce a two buffer scheme. Two buffer scheme that handle large lookheads safely. We then consider an improvement involving large lookhead. Okay. The next one is the buffer pairs. Because of the amount of time taken to process a character and the large number of characters that must be processed, During the compilation of a large source program, specialized buffering techniques have been developed to reduce the amount of overhead required to process a single input character. An important scheme involves two buffers that are alternately reloaded. Show the figure in slide uh, and I have used it to represent. Okay, this is how and this is how a statement will be represented. So it equals to AMC square. Okay, this is not the part one of the expression, but that will mostly important to identify the lexeme. Each buffer, each buffer of the same size, suppose n. Buffer size n, and n is usually the size of the disk block. N size of disk block usually. What will be the value? Probably it will be near about 4096 bytes. Okay. Using one system read command, we can read n characters into a buffer. That's in to a buffer. Rather than using one system call per character, if fewer than n characters remain in the input file, then a special character represented by EOF marks the end of the source file. Okay, EOF marks the end of the source file and is different from any possible characters of the source program. Two pointers to the input are maintained. Pointer lexeme begin marks the beginning of the current lexeme, whose extent we are attempting to determine. Pointer forward scans it until a pattern match is found. This is the beginning, and forward scan it for the next lexeme. Okay, that will be for the next lexeme. Once the next lexeme is determined, forward is set to the character at the right end. Then after the lexeme is recorded as the attribute value of a token returned to the parser, lexeme begin is set to the character immediately. We see forward hatch was the end of the next lexeme, that is the exponent. That is exponent. This exponent actually used in the syntax of Fortran. Okay. And must be retraced on position to the left. Advancing further requires that we first test whether we have reached the end of one of the buffers, and if so, we must reload the other buffer from the input and move forward to the beginning of the new line loader buffer. As long as we never need to look so far ahead of the actual lexeme that the sum of the lexeme's length plus the distance we look at is greater than 1. Greater than 1. Greater than n. Okay, we shall never override the lexeme in its buffer before determining it. Next is specification of tokens. Regular expression are an important notation for specifying lexeme. Specifying lexeme patterns. Regular expression. While they cannot express all possible patterns, they are very effective in specifying those type of patterns that we actually need for tokens. String and languages. String and languages. An alphabet is any finite set of symbols. What about alphabet? Alphabet is any set of finite symbol. Okay. Typically, examples of symbols are letters, digits, and punctuation. These all are the symbols. Alphabet, any symbols. Okay. The set 01 is a binary alphabet. ASCII is an important example of an alphabet. It is used in many software systems, Unicode, which includes approximately 100,000 characters. These are the alphabet. A string. A string over an alphabet is a finite sequence of symbols drawn from that alphabet. In language theory, the terms, sentence, word, synonyms, these all are the string. Okay, these all are the string. String are sentence, word. Okay, even string also that will be enclosed. And the length of a string usually will be written. Length of the string will be usually written here. Mode of this. If S is the string, there is a number of occurrence of the symbols in S. Okay. For example, banana is a string of length 6. And what will be the mm, length of the null string? And the null string basically is denoted by epsilon. Okay, is a string of length 0. Okay, next is language. Language. Language in sense any countable set of strings over some fixed alphabet. Any countable set of string. This definition is very broad. Abstract language like zero, empty set, including epsilon, the set containing. Okay. Any syntactical well-formed C programs and a set of all grammatical correct English sentence. Although the later two languages, okay, these are the languages. Now we need to recognize a token. We need to recognize the token. How that will be recognized? Recognition of token. We know how to express patterns using regular expression. Now we must study how to take the patterns from all the needed tokens and build a piece of code that examines the input string and finds a prefix that is a lexeme matching one of the patterns. Our discussion will make use of the following example. Okay. Estimate if expression, then this. Okay. This is a program for branching statement. This is a program for branching statement. Okay. The grammar fragment describe a simple form of branching statement and conditional expression. This expression is similar to that of the language Pascal that is used for the Pascal. In that, then appear explicitly after condition. For ReLOF, we use the comparison operator of language like Pascal or SQL, where equals to is equals symbol is equals to and this is not equals to. Okay. The terminal of the grammar, which are if, then, else, ReLOF, ID, and number are the names of tokens as far as the lexical analyzer is concerned. If len 0 expression with the ReLOF term, this is the for the comparison set. Okay. Next, this is the way. Here the patterns for ID and a number are similar to that we have shown there. For this language, the lexical analyzer will recognize the keywords if, then, and else. In that way, it will be recognized. Digits, number, letter, these are the ID. If, then, else. Okay. These are the symbols, single or double. That means two character symbols. Okay. In addition to that, here blank, tab and new line are abstract symbol. Okay. So next we will see how our goal for the lexical analyzer is summarized here in this table. For each lexeme or family of lexeme whose token name is returned to the parser and what attribute value is discussed is returned. Note that for the 6 relational operators, symbol constant, LT, LE and so LT, LE. Okay. Lexeme, token name and the attribute value. In order to indicate which instance of the token relay we have found, the particular operator found will influence the code that is output from the compiler. Okay, this is the relay. Okay, fine. So we have completed lecture 5. Thank you.